Okay, so these different heights. So coming down to a lower height. You never know who's going to be prepping. I mean, my mother is 5 foot nothing and would much rather have a lower prep area so that she can cut and do her thing instead of feeling like she's way up here trying to do everything. But my dad is over 6 foot, so of course he can't have everything that low because he's got a bad back and can't do all of that. I've got small children, so having them being able to help, those different heights are going to help in all of those areas. Doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter whether you're elderly, you're a child, or you're in your 30s. All of those are going to help in the overall standpoint of remodeling your home so that it's better for you for longer periods of time. So now we're going to kind of talk about some different accessories, different things you can do with your cabinets and everything to really get the most out of your kitchen, especially if you're doing a remodel and trying to get this to function for a long period of time so it fits your family and will grow with it and not just only fit to a certain point and then be done. So different things, kind of like the easiest one is roll trays. Nobody likes to be on the floor and on your hands and knees trying to find that one pan that's way in the back of a blind corner that takes you 10 minutes and 18 things to pull out to get to. So roll trays, anytime you can avoid different things like that. Roll trays, being able to pull those out and grab what you need. Very, very easy thing, very common thing to place to really help in all those facts. Doing kind of like these plate organizers in a drawer setting. Again, kids up to elderly, this helps out a lot because it's anybody can go underneath the counter, grab what you need for setting the table, and go set the table. Instead of trying to reach way up here to grab all your plates and bring it down. Porcelain plates are heavy, and if you have a lot of people, you start getting 10 plus plates in a whole thing, that's heavy. So if you do have bad shoulders or you do have a bad back, or even just the safety of coming from here and down is a lot easier to go up and onto the countertop. So having little things like this that are in the base cabinets instead of up above are going to help in that aging and keep it functional for a long period of time. Better storage for your pots and pans. Again, a lot of people have blind corners, and that tends to be where our pots and pans go because it's the biggest cabinet to fit them all in. But it's not the easiest to get anything. I lose stuff back there all the time. There's probably lids back there I haven't used in 2 years. So having something kind of like this, where you have a big drawer on the bottom that opens up, easy access to anything. Having this space up above, again, a roll tray that pulls out, easy access to grab whatever you need. There are certain things, if you are specifically looking for ADA compliance or anything that would be towards a disability. Something like this is something that we offer. It's just an insert that goes in and it can pull down. Again, it's just a shelf item in there. You make the cabinets just a little bit on the lower side, and then it's easy for someone, if they are in a wheelchair, to grab up and pull on the lever, brings it down to the height they need it at to grab whatever they want. And then the nice thing about these is you just pull and release and it closes itself. So you don't even have to worry about making sure it gets up there and closed. It does it on its own. We do what we consider a drawer box top. So something like this. Again, that can lend really well into another surface area. If you don't want your countertop to be lower, maybe adding 1 or 2 of those in a couple different spaces. Again, makes it just a little bit lower than your countertop so that you still have that ease of access. And if you do have someone that's a little bit shorter that would like a prep area that's a little lower, that's a great option. That top comes off. You can see where there's a little hole right there. That whole thing comes off. You still use the drawer, but that top on there just allows for another surface area to be used as prep work or a landing zone or anything you might need it to be a little bit lower. So now we're going to talk a little bit about appliances. So I'm not really going to go into specifics of brands or anything like that, mainly just the overall functions of these appliances that can really help you in gaining access to the future. So most of your fridges are going to work really well for aging in place. I mean, as long as there's access to them is great. Some of my favorites are these newer ones that are coming out that are 4 doors. Really nice because that is even the French doors with the bottom drawer are really good. But instead of pulling out that whole bottom drawer, these new ones with the 4-door access, now you only have to open another 1 door. So heaven forbid, if you did have a wheelchair or a walker or anything like that, it makes it just a little bit easier access to open one door instead of having to pull out a whole drawer to try to get into a freezer. Either one is still going to work really well. Having that space on the bottom just allows for somebody that can't maybe quite get up to the top, have access to those freezers. And then with the fridge, anything that they might need access to can be at a lower standpoint, and then you can put your excess stuff up top. So they still work really well. A couple other options, if you're concerned about it, is doing another set of fridges. So it's very popular right now. I've been doing a lot of these by just adding in a secondary under-the-counter beverage fridge. It's not specific to alcohol. Most of them are for either kids' drinks or excess drinks or anything else that they just don't want to be cluttered in their big fridge. But having something like this just allows for your fridge to be your prep stuff and this to be a beverage fridge. So if you have children that can't quite reach anything, or elderly parents that maybe can't get into everything, these are really nice additional objects to place in there that don't change anything. You just have to have the space to put it in. And if it's designed that way, then you're fine. So again, these here are drawer refrigerators. So again, a really nice option for underneath the counter, easy access. They're not very big, so it can be just a secondary type refrigeration. Just gives you that availability for ease of access for anybody at any age to get into. So cooking aspects. This is the one where I'm probably not the greatest when I practice it. I am a sucker for gas cooking. I love it. It's not the safest if you're trying to think about aging or kids or any of those types of situations. Your better situations for that, cooktops or ranges, is going to be more of an induction top like these. So what's really nice about those induction tops is they're not hot to the touch. So they're all specific to a certain type of pots and pan that it reads when that pan is on top of it. So it's not going to be hot to the touch until the pan gets on it. They work together, and then as soon as the pan is removed, the burner shuts off and is no longer hot to touch. A lot of your newer ones also have safety features so that if you accidentally touch it, or a kid runs up and accidentally touches, one of these buttons, there are safety features that can be put into place that will eliminate that. Like you might have to hit it twice, or you have to hit it for so long and hold it so that it really activates, knowing that you really wanted to turn this part on. So other things are going to be like your range or ovens. So the GE Cafe French oven doors are by far my favorite. Biggest reason, one, they look awesome. Two, how much easier is that to pull open instead of pulling a whole door down? And then when you pull that door down and it's here, now you're trying to reach around it to get into the oven or get things out of the oven. You don't really have anywhere to go. But if you have those two French doors that open this way, now you have full access into that oven. You can grab and place wherever you need to. So these are a great option if you're really trying to plan a remodel for kind of aging in place or thinking a long period of time. Even the ranges that they have, even a double, like the double oven ranges, are gonna help overall because you do have the two ovens. It still gives you that versatility. The doors are not quite as heavy, so if you do have an elderly person, or if you have shoulder problems or back problems, or just kind of that worry about that overall wear and tear, they're not going to be quite as heavy. If you don't need the whole oven, you don't have to use the whole oven, so you have that versatility of both. Obviously, yes, this bottom one is still going to be lower, so if you have troubles bending or back problems bending, anything like that, that bottom one is going to be lower. But this top one, if you don't need it all the time, that top one works great for everyday uses. So microwaves are going to be another one. In most instances, I like to put them underneath the counter if I can. Or if I can't, putting them just on top of the countertop in height works really well. And the main reason is just because of safety. Safety of going up here and down with something hot is dangerous. Just because if you spill or you get bumped, my 3-year-old is constantly running around me. So every time I go to take something out, that's the first thing I think of. If she is there and hits me, where's that gonna go? That's automatically on top of me. So being able to go from under counter or just at a height right here and come down to a countertop is way easier than trying to come up here. Again, for the aging in place part of it, bad shoulders, bad back, any part of that where it's hard for you to bring your arms up is going to be a lot easier for you to come down here and pull up, or come right here and pull down. All of those are a lot easier on your body, they're a lot safer for you, and they're just overall a better function of your space. So kind of placing appliances is a very strategic thing as well. Fridges, having that more in an accessible area that really doesn't have anything overlapping it is going to help in the long run, because if you think having that door open and you're trying to get something and it's a major walkway and you've got people walking in and out, that's really hard to do. So if this was pushed over any, you now completely block this walkway because of the island. So because it's pushed this direction, now people could still squeeze through there, or again, if it comes down to it that you do need it for a disability as a wheelchair or a walker or anything, it's easily accessible to get there that they can still use without having to worry about how they're gonna fit or how they're gonna maneuver this way because of it being hidden in a spot that they can't really get to. Again, talking about kind of those microwaves. The big thing for microwaves right now is built in. Most people like them built in. It's great to have them if you have, a built-in microwave and an oven, but unless you have it right next to a countertop, they can still be kind of dangerous to use. One thing I've been doing a lot more of, again, this drawer box top. We can put it in, I've designed it a lot in a tall cabinet. You do your built-in microwave, and then you have this drawer underneath it with that box top. Open that drawer, you can grab whatever you need to, place it on that top while you close the door, and then get your grip to go wherever you actually need it to go. Helps you, it's a lot safer, and it's just a better function of where you need to get it to. If you have the space, not everybody has the space, double ovens are great, but still can be kind of high. So that top one, depending on where you put them, that top one can still be a little on the high side for ease of access. So maybe instead of doing double ovens, do single ovens, but put them side by side. That way you can, both of them at the height that you need them to be, and then they're easy access to get to. Again, not everybody's space allows for side-by-side ovens. It's a little harder to put in there, but it can help as well to make sure that it's at a height that works well for you and will work well for you for years to come. And then again, like I was talking about the microwave, just kind of putting that microwave at that location that's really gonna work for your family, everybody that might use it, and just making it safe on all aspects of everyday use. All right, we're gonna touch just a little bit on flooring. The biggest things to do with flooring is the material. Pick the material that's going to work for you, and only you are gonna know what's gonna work. So I tend to have a lot of people that ask me on flooring, and the biggest thing is, what's on trend? You don't wanna find exactly what's on trend. You wanna find something that's gonna specifically work for you. LVP or LVTs are really what's most popular right now, and they come in all shapes and forms, from wood looks to stone looks, about anything that you want. Most popular is your wood looks because it does mimic a hardwood floor. The really nice thing about these is the way they're made, they do have a little bit of cushion. So it's not quite as hard as tile, it's not quite as hard as your hardwoods are gonna be. Gives you a little bit of cushion in there, but still gives you the versatility of most are waterproof, most are gonna be scratch resistant. Gives you that durability that you're gonna need if you have kids or pets or elderly, because of the flat surface of it, and if you take it throughout a whole main level, you now have that ease of access that is no longer a tripping hazard. I really strongly tell people to get something that functions for them and is gonna be waterproof and easy to clean, because taking it throughout a whole main level gets rid of all your transition strips. Those transition strips, depending on how tall they are, they can be a tripping hazard. I trip on them all the time, and it's terrible, and I'm only 30. So this isn't about talking about if you're 80 or 90 and tripping on these things. This is anybody. So having that ease of access throughout the entire one level is going to help in the overall from age 0 to age 100. These types of things are what are going to help. Tile is a great option for non-slip surface and ease of cleaning. However, if you fall, it's not very forgiving. I mean, it's going to be very hard. Standing on it, if you're going to stand on it all day, or stand on it while, I mean, even while you're cooking or doing dishes, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on your joints. It's going to be hard on your knees and your legs. So it's a lot better to do something like this that's going to give you a little bit of cushion through there and still act and be as durable as you need it to be. So bathrooms. Bathrooms are just as important when thinking about aging in place. I know most people don't put a lot of thought into it, but there's very easy things that can happen to really make these work for anybody. One of my favorite things right now are these linear drains. They're long, they can be decorative, but what's nice about them is instead of putting them this little circular or little square piece in the shower, these are super long. They're going to take up all of that water. It allows you to slope at a different way than coming down to a small circle. So that ease of access getting into it, you can keep zero entry showers in there because the water is going to go towards that instead of coming out the door. So these are probably one of my favorite drains right now to do inside showers. Again, this goes more for aging part of it, but grab bars. Most people think of grab bars and the first thing you think of is the commercial ones that you see in every bathroom, in every Walmart or Home Depot, and that's instantly all you think of. They don't have to look like that. Grab bars can be pretty. I mean, you would look at this and think it's a handle. It don't have to be ugly. And they can be decorative, they can be functional, and just help for overall for anybody that might be at your house. So again, kind of showing that zero entry. So you can see here where the entire floor is all one level. There's no transition strips. There's no lip up here for getting into the shower for that pan or anything. It's a zero entry all the way through. So what's nice about that is if you have troubles, you have a knee problem or a hip, or I mean, you just sprained an ankle. It's hard to get up and over even a 5-inch lip. So having that zero entry in there just allows you easy access to get into your shower and come back out. You're not going to trip. You're not going to slip. Even over here. Again, they angled it. And then the one thing you'll notice about these two photos, there's no door. So having that open access, you don't have to worry about the swing of a door going in or out or anything. So it gives you just that nice access coming in. What I like about this picture over here as well, and you can kind of see that there's some grab bars in here as well. They don't have to be ugly. You would have never probably noticed them unless I pointed them out. What's also nice here, the way this one particularly is set up, there's areas over here. Tile on the floor is hard because you do have water. It does become a slipping hazard if it gets wet. And of course, rugs are great, but again, can be a tripping hazard if you get tangled up in it. So this one over here, having this cabinets and countertops here, having the tub right here, if you need help walking, coming out of there, there's spaces to grab to get you gradually around the room if you need it to be. So just little things like that, little aspects of those types of things really help you get to the designing the way that it needs to be. So again, for in showers, benches. I've definitely had clients that have told me they really dislike benches. But they're nice because if you do need to sit down or you have an elderly parent maybe that comes and lives with you, or you are getting a little older and have knee problems or ankles or legs or hips, having a place to sit down, that helps. And I'm sorry, but as a female, trying to stand in a shower and shave my legs is hard. How much nicer is it if I can just sit down, get it done, and be done with my day? Other things like the little niches, the little cut-ins into the wall, gives all your shampoos. In this particular one, we were able to make it wide enough to get the towels in there too. Little easier access that when you're done, everything's right there so that you can get to it. It doesn't protrude into the shower, so then you're not having to worry about things falling or moving around or tripping or bumping into things because it's all in a wall. These are probably the most popular that we do in showers right now, just because it does give it, your shower is as big as we could make it and still make it functional to keep everything inside. Another thing like you can see here, if you can incorporate, most people do, but if you can incorporate both a shower head and a hand shower, is going to help a lot. That hand shower helps from every age. I use it all the time with my 3-year-old because if she needs to take a quick shower, I can just pull it down, do it real quick, and it's really close to her. Or even the dog, even having the dog in there and doing him, works great. So kind of talking a little bit about the vanities. Here is, if you have like a sit down area, just helps for if you can't stand for long periods of time, you can sit down. It helps ease everything. Sit down and get ready or do something like that. Floating vanities are really nice to keep that easy clean underneath. If you do have somebody with a wheelchair or anything, that does give a little more access for the feet to kind of come into it a little bit. You're not really running into everything. And this side over here, having a little bit lower height for those sinks, that helps as well, because if you're a little on the shorter side and you're up here trying to wash your hands, it's not as easy to do. But if you bring that down just a little bit, that can help as well. Okay, so technology. Technology is everywhere right now. So everybody has most of these things. But some of the nice basic ones that you can get, Alexas or Google Homes, just those types of things are going to help a little bit. They can help with, reminders and timers, your news, anything like that. You can get like your Google Nests and your Facebook Lives and those types of things that help, especially if you are talking about more elderly, so that you can check up on them, or phone calls or video chat. You can look up recipes, all those things that are going to help. The easiest one for everybody, and it's the one that I even use at home, is going to be light bulbs. Put your light bulbs on a timer or set them up to an Alexa if you get Bluetooth light bulbs. That way you have them on. Mine always come on at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and turn off at about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, so that it's on, especially in the dead of winter when it's dark outside by the time we're driving home. It's on when we get there, so I don't have to try to fumble around and try to find a light switch to turn on when my 3-year-old is barreling through the door because she can't wait for anything. Or at night when I'm trying to go into another room and luckily I've got a light on, instead of having to try to walk all the way across the room to find that light switch and turn it on, bumping into everything, of course, I have known is where it is for a year. So those are really easy when to have those automatic lights on, just so that you can see. There are definitely more high-tech options that you can get. There's a lot of GE appliances that do barcodes for like the microwave and the oven, that all you have to do is scan it and it puts all your settings, you put the food in and it starts. Some of those, if you're great at technology, you really want the smartphone application to it, sure, maybe those are great for you. If you're thinking more elderly people, probably not the greatest, because most elderly probably aren't doing a whole lot on their smartphone anyway. Again, more high tech, you can get stuff that's floor sensors that go on underneath your floor. I've known some that have used it for elderly parents that might sneak out. So then it's something that if they come out of their room and push down on it, an alert goes to your phone that says, hey, somebody's on the floor, lets you check on them, whatever you need to do. So there's definitely your higher stuff, voice commands. There's a lot of appliances that can do voice commands and stuff down. So if you have your Alexas or your Google Nests that are all hooked up to that, and it's an easy, just kind of talk to your voice, it does what you need it to do, and you move on with your day. So it just makes it a little bit easier to get through the functionality of your day. All right, so I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit, kind of just what we kind of talked about today. So really the biggest thing is safety. Safety is going to be your number one thing. And again, this isn't designing for just disabilities, which we can do, but this is designing for everybody. So if you're a little bit younger, say you're in your 20s, 30s, even early 40s, think about designing for your children. You're going to design for your children, and then it's going to help you when you get to an age that you need that same kind of help. Choose finishes wisely. Don't choose your finishes, your countertops, your flooring. Don't choose those just based on, well, I saw this on a TV show and that's what they say is popular, so I'm going to do this. Find out, talk to the experts, do some research so that you know what's going to work for your lifestyle. Everybody is different. because I have seen some unfortunate events where somebody with pets and kids put in hardwood floors in their house because someone was like, oh yeah, no, this is the best thing for you. And in 2 years, they're completely scratched and look terrible, and the homeowners are very unhappy because now they have terrible looking floors. So just do that research and talk to people. Find out what's gonna work for you, what best functions for your family. Again, designing for aging in place does not mean ADA. It doesn't mean you have a disability. It doesn't mean anybody's in a wheelchair. But life happens. You gotta design for any possibility that could happen. I'm not saying that every possibility in every remodel you're gonna be able to live in for the rest of your life if something happens. But at least there's little things that we can change and be accountable for that might help ease that process if need be. So accessories are gonna be your best friend. It's an ease of function type of situation. Those roll trays, those pull-outs, lower cabinets or open shelving, all of those are going to help in designing and help you in the end with that aging in place. Placement of appliances and cabinets is vital. So if you push everything into a tight little corner, it's not gonna work for you. You can only fit one person in there. So spreading them out, strategically placing them so everybody that would need access to them has access to them no matter what age they are in life. Bathrooms. Bathrooms are just as important as kitchens. You use your bathroom all the time. So just having those little things that can ease your everyday is going to help in that overall so that you can use it from the time that you remodel it for another 20 to 50 years. And then technology. Technology can be friendly. It's not always the greatest, but it can help you, again, ease of life. Your Alexas, great for timers, Google Homes, Bluetooth, light bulbs that are Bluetooth or on timers, all of those little things that are gonna help your everyday so that you don't have to think about them, and it just gives your ease of life a little bit more. All right, guys. Well, again, I'm Sarah Nielsen. I think we have a few questions, so I'll kind of go at that.
I don't see anything.
None? Okay, we don't have any questions right now, so thank you for joining me. Again, I'm Sarah Nielsen. I'm a designer here at Showplace Cabinetry Design Center, where we have all of your cabinetry needs and can help you with any remodel that you choose to do. So if you ever want to come down and see us, then please stop in down here at 3200 100th Street in Urbandale. Thank you for joining me.